The spaghetti is good. The spaghetti is very good. The spaghetti is really good. The spaghetti is crazy good. The spaghetti is so good. The spaghetti is somewhat good. The spaghetti is a little bit good. Are they the same? What's the difference? Who knows? So, when I started this video, I said maybe 6 or 7 sentences that are the same, but they're not really the same. Or maybe they are the same, right? And that is the spaghetti is blank good, right? And I changed the different intensifiers used in each sentences. So, what is an intensifier? That's the first question. Intensifiers are basically words that we add before an adjective, right? Again, we add it before an adjective to change the aspect or the degree or how strong or how weak, I would say, a specific adjective. And for the example that I gave you guys, spaghetti is very good. That means that the taste of the spaghetti or how good it is actually up here, right? It's very good. On the last sentence that I have the spaghetti is a little bit good, meaning the intensifier or the degree of how good the spaghetti was down here. So it's a little bit different than the first one that I said. Spaghetti is very good compared to the spaghetti is a little good or a bit good, right? Those are a little, those two are two different things, and they, of course, are different sentences in terms of like actual meaning. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because I wanted to teach you different kinds of intensifiers that we use in English. So for the most part, the intensifiers that we see, I would say most common intensifiers we see in ESL books is the word very. However, we do actually use different intensifiers. And if you're an ESL learner, maybe you'd probably hear so as well, right? The spaghetti is so good, really good, right? Too good, okay? But we can use other intensifiers such as pretty, as in like pretty, but we actually use that as an intensifier. So the spaghetti is pretty good. We can use intensifiers such as extremely, meaning again, it's high up there. We can use intensifiers such as so good, right? So that is also one of the most common intensifiers that we also hear. We can also say the spaghetti is crazy good. So that is another intensifier, crazy good. But you gotta be careful with the usage of crazy as an intensifier. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Other intensifiers that we can use are quite. I always say quite when I say, oh, this movie is quite good. Right? It's quite good, meaning it's really good. You can say insanely good or extremely good or exceptionally good. Those ones are not very common, but my point is that we can use different other intensifiers aside from very, which is the most common intensifiers that we always see in ESL books. Very is actually fading out, or I guess not a lot of people really, if you are maybe in North America, especially depending on the age of the person, we don't really use very as much anymore. If you probably talk to your grandparents or you heard someone talking, they probably use very, because again, it has something to do with the changes of language or the vocabularies that we use throughout time. Now, so we covered that one. Where can we actually put intensifiers? Like I said, we put intensifiers before an adjective, but it has different environments as well. The most common environments that we always see intensifiers, or where you can put them, is beside a noun, of course, but before, right? So I'll give you an example. The expensive car, the really expensive car is sold, right? Or is broken. Let's use that as an example. The really expensive car is broken. You can also say the car is really broken, or the car is really expensive. So you can put it before a verb, right? Before a verb, and of course, well, a noun first, or an adjective, and then a noun. The second location where you put it is before or after, after verb. So the car is really expensive. Those in linguistics, that we call a predicative or predicative position. The first one was an attributive position, which is something that you shouldn't be bothered about, but those are two places where you can put intensifiers. Intensifiers really are adverbs in some ways. They are adverbs. They're not degree adverbs though. So those are your intensifiers. Now, the last two sentences that I said in the very beginning of the video, I have the spaghetti is somewhat good, and then the last one was spaghetti is a little bit good. If you have intensifiers that actually increase or put more emphasis, not put more emphasis, but rather make the degree of a specific adjective high, then you have what we call downtoners. So they are words such as somewhat, a little bit, tad bit, a bit, kind of, sort of. So the same example, you can say the car is somewhat expensive. The car is a little expensive. So you're putting the degree or the how strong, right? The adjective is to make it a little bit lower, right? It's not as strong, it's not as powerful. So those are what you call downtoners. So again, we have intensifiers that make an adjective go high in terms of like its degree. You can use, aside from very, you can use really. Really is actually really popular. We actually did a study here. There's actually a study here in Toronto about the usage of intensifiers. Really is really high up there. I just used it. Pretty is very high up there as well. So too is not too, it's not there, but it's a little debatable on that intensifiers. We can use, again, crazy, insanely, somewhat, which I will add in the description down below. And then we also have the downtoners that actually, it's sort of, there you go, it's putting the degree of an adjective lower or down to make it not as powerful, if that would make sense to you. What else do I have? I guess those are what I have for you today. So those are your intensifiers, those are your downtoners. There are other ways of saying very. There are many ways of saying it. You can also mix and try to experiment with the usage of intensifiers and different adjectives, so that you know your speech or your speaking would be a little bit more different, or in other words, more variegated. It's different, you know, it would sound different, it would sound nice. So play with it. It will expand the way you speak, it'll expand your vocabulary as well. And hope you enjoyed this video, or hopefully you learned something from this video. Again, before I leave, I just wanted to tell you all that I am conducting free classes every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I also do a class on Wednesday at the same time, and I really implore you guys to check that class. It's fun. It's a perfect way to just really have a conversation with me and other people from, you know, around the world. It's good because you'd be able to practice your English. It's mostly in conversation format, but it's fun. I do have some activities that I provide, and hope to see you guys in that class. With that said, I'm signing off. This is again your teacher, your friend, and your boy Casspeak here in Casspeak, and I'll see you next time.